Okay, so we need to talk. This is absolutely insane. So, a man was sentenced to 110 years in prison for a truck accident that happened in Colorado after his brakes failed. And I wanted to talk about this because this is it's messed up on several levels, and it begs the question. How do you feel about this? Everyone watching this, how do you feel about this? There's currently a massive boycott going down in Colorado. It's called No Truck Colorado. No, every truck driver nationwide is refusing to drive through Colorado for this sentencing. We're going to read through this article. We're going to discuss this because this is absolutely huge, huge news. It's insane. So we're going to go from there and kind of see what's going on. So here's the article. It says, quite literally, truck driver gets 110 years in prison for crash that kills 14 people after his brakes failed. Boom. Awesome. So it says, this is not awesome, but this is what it says. A truck driver who lost control of his 18-wheeler and crashed into stop traffic on a Colorado highway in 2019, killing 4 people, has been sentenced to 110 years in prison. On Monday, a Jefferson County judge handed down the sentencing to Raul Aguilera Medeiros for the crash on the Interstate 70, NBC News reports. On April 25th, 2019, Aguilera Medeiros was driving when the brakes failed on his 18-wheeler. So it wasn't like he wasn't paying attention. It wasn't like he was looking at his phone. It wasn't like he was distracted. His brakes literally failed, which was carrying lumber. KMG reports, despite the highway having truck ramps, Aguilera Medeiros, then 23, didn't take a runaway and instead crashed into stopped traffic. The fiery crash killed 4 people: 61-year-old Doyle Harrison, 67-year-old William Bailey, 69-year-old Stanley Paulantino, and 24-year-old Miguel Lamas Ariano. They injured several others. During Monday's sentencing, the court heard from the victims' families. It's been difficult. Sometimes it feels like being half of a person, Kathleen Harrison, who lost her husband, Doyle Harrison, said, KCNC reports. He was taken away from me in an instant by the actions of a selfish person, Juanita Bailey, the mother of the victim, Bill Bailey, said. Now, this is weird to me because I feel like this is one of those situations where it couldn't have been a selfish thing. It would have been selfish if he was looking at his phone or he was distracted. He was paying attention to the road. He saw the traffic and he tried to slam on his brakes, and his brakes failed. They did not work, and he stopped traffic and killed 4 people. So it is very unfortunate, but I feel like the situation, right? This is really messed up. Like, imagine yourself in this guy's shoes, right? Also, it's just as messed up for the families of the victims, because they just need answers, like what's going on, why this happened. Of course, you need someone to blame in a situation like this, so they're going to blame the driver. He wasn't drunk. He wasn't distracted. He crashed into a lot of people. So this is where I ask you guys, what do you think that this sentencing was too hard? On October, a jury found the truck driver guilty of 27 counts, including 4 counts of vehicular homicide. On Monday, Aguilera Medeiros told the court, "It hurts. I asked God too many times, why them and not me? Why did I survive that accident?" While the judge recognized that Aguilera Medeiros didn't intend to harm anyone, he noted that the state law required him to sentence the 26-year-old to consecutive sentences. I'm going to read this again so you guys hear what I'm saying. While the judge recognized that Aguilera Medeiros did not intend to harm anyone, right? It was not intentional. He also wasn't distracted. He wasn't on his phone or anything like that. He noted that the state law in Colorado, the state law required him to sentence the 26-year-old to consecutive sentences. If I had the discretion, if I thought I had the discretion, I would not run those sentences consecutively, Judge A. Bruce Jones said. And I agree, this is insane. Now, should he get some time for this? I don't know, because it's something that it was a malfunction of his vehicle. Now, if you got anything, then maybe like, I don't know, man. I feel like this is a very tricky situation, because it wasn't neglect, right? It was not a neglect thing. His brakes failed. Now, yes, maybe he should have checked his brakes before he got in his car, but do we all check our brakes before we get into our own vehicles? Like, I mean, he probably regularly services brakes, and maybe at some point, it's a series of unfortunate events. This to me was a crazy story, so I felt like I had to talk about it. Boom. He says, I accept and respect what the defendant has said about his lack of intent to hurt people, but he made a series of terrible decisions, reckless decisions, the judge said. And I want to see what these are, because as far as I know, he wasn't distracted. Man, it's, oh my gosh. I got to look at another article to see if that's it, because boom. We're going to look through, I'm going to skim through this article. Boom, boom, boom. Oh my gosh. Colorado law requires courts to sentence most individuals convicted of certain categories of crimes to a mandatory minimum period of incarceration, according to the Colorado General Assembly website, which is messed up. Like, this is how America makes its money. There will be an appeal as to the facts and mistakes made in the trial, said attorney James Colgan, who represents Aguilera Maderos. The issue with this appeal will not be the sentence itself. Under the law, the court was not incorrect. However, the law as written is barbaric and draconian, Colgan told CNN. There needs to be a change in the law. This is absolutely insane. He's serving 110 years in prison for an accident, a genuine accident. Now, envision this. Envision driving on a road, right? You're driving home from work or something, and you see traffic stopped, up ahead. So you slam on your brakes. Oh, your brakes don't work. And you smack into the car in front of you, and you accidentally kill 4 or 5 people. And then you get sentenced to 110 years in prison. It was not intentional. It was it was literally a vehicle malfunction. The car itself, the brakes were not working. So I think this is a crazy situation, because the Colorado law, state law, requires consecutive sentencing, and I find that to be very ridiculous. So I guess to close this up, it's very unfortunate for everybody involved. It's unfortunate for the families that lost their loved ones close to them, and it's very unfortunate for this individual who was essentially the cause of this accident, but not on purpose. You know what I mean? Because I feel like in situations like this, maybe at maximum a fine, because it wasn't intentional, It's just, I don't know, maybe suing the car company. I don't know, something, but I don't feel like he should be held to the fire for this, because it was an accident, and accidents happen a lot, and so a lot of accidents do cause deaths, and it's unfortunate, but this is insane, absolutely insane. But my condolences do go out to the family. But it's crazy because the families are acting like he did this with malice. He did this with intent to, hurt their own people or whatever, which is, it obviously that's not the case. But how would you know? Like, they could be the next people in a weird situation like this. They could be driving on the road trying to either hit their brakes to stop on a highway, right, where traffic is backed up, and their brakes don't work, and boom, they're in a horrible car accident. I would not hope or wish that on anybody, but I'm saying, how do you go about sentencing this? And at all, I know for a fact Colorado sentencing is horrible. 110 years for this, 110 years for this. It's insane. The all of the officials in the court system in Colorado know that this law is insane, and yet they still have to implement it. Anyways, that's the video for today, man. You guys let me know how you feel about this. I thought this was absolutely ridiculous, and it needed to be talked about. And it's very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate, man. But something is incredibly wrong with America's prison system. But Colorado, Jesus Christ, it's just ridiculous, barbaric, and ridiculous. But that's pretty much it. See ya.